Good evening. Today is Tuesday, October 23rd, 2012. We are calling the North Miami Council meeting into order, sitting at the North Miami City Hall, 776 Northeast 125th Street on the second floor, one of the 10 best cities in the United States of America, the only city in Miami-Dade County that has received such an honor in the last 5 years. To begin the meeting, I'm going to call on Major Bria Burton to lead us on the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
Thank you, Major Bria Burton. You may be seated. Major Bria Burton is the only, Haitian American female major in the world, except probably for Haiti. We're proud to have you in the city of North Miami, and North Miami continue to make history. So thank you so much. Okay. Continue on with the meeting. We're gonna call on Dr. Pastor NoMi for the invocation this evening.
Let us pray. Gracious God, we come to you to say thank you again for everything you have done for us. We ask you, Lord, to bless these councils. We ask you, Lord, to take over and to control this meeting as we are about to discuss the matter of North Miami. Help us, God. Be with us. In the name of God, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Dr. Pastor NoMi. It was a pleasure seeing you last night at the official Obama debate party, which was very nice at the Gusman Theater. So it was a pleasure to see you with your wife last night. Continue on with the meeting. Mr. City Clerk, would you do roll call for me, please?
Vice Mayor Sterian?
Here.
Councilman Galvin? Mayor Pierre?
Here.
Councilman Marcellus?
Here.
Councilman Glenn? Mayor, we have a quorum.
All right, thank you, Mr. City Clerk. Let the record reflect that we do have a quorum to conduct the business of the people this evening. Mr. City Manager, any additions, deletions, amendments to the agenda?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In regards to the agenda, I respectfully request that tab K will be considered K4.
K4, okay. Any other amendments?
That would be it, Mayor.
Okay, hearing none, the agenda is set for this evening. We're going to move on into special presentations, and we're going to call on, I'm not sure if it's the chief or the assistant chief or the entire police department or the major or the police athletic league, but we're going to recognize them so they could do the North Miami Police Athletic League, the golf tournament in collaboration with the Miami Beach PAL, which I was there, and I think it was a very successful event. Go ahead, Chief.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to share with you, back in May of 2012, our Police Athletic League, along with the Miami Beach Police Athletic League, put together a golf tournament, which was very successful. We had a gross profit of $36,900. And we had a net profit about $14,000. And because of the partnership, today we wanted to recognize Officer Martineau and also Major Vasquez, that's here representing the chief, just for the partnership that we did together and continuing partnership, because we're looking at doing the same thing hopefully next year as well. And we wanted to tell you thank you. And also wanted to thank our Assistant Chief Burgess that's here, that oversees our Police Athletic League along with the major, and the two hard-working officers, which is Officer Stewart and Cherry. They always try to stay behind the scene, but they put countless hours, into making this a success. And let me say, we net profit $14,000. We split it, but the $7,000 we receive, you have no idea the goodness that it does for the youth in this community and the importance of the Police Athletic League. And Mayor, with all due respect, if you don't mind, on November the 2nd, we are going to have a an event at Diesel's Collection, and we'd like to invite everyone. It's $75. Everybody should receive it. But don't look at the money. Look at the goodness it's going to do for the kids in this community. Okay, as far as education, the field trips, and so much educational aspect towards what we're doing again for the kids in this community. So, Mayor, thank you so much. And Major, if you can come up and give the check to the Miami Beach Police Athletic League. And the total is $7,765. This is in partnership with us.
Can I ask the council and the city clerk to come down and take a picture with our visiting city?
She's just going to go like this.
Please.
Let me take a second one just in case it's really.
You cannot take half that.
Slow camera.
No, we don't get to All right. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Mark.
What's up? We have money.
Thank you. We are going to move. We are going to proceed, but the chief is already gone. But anyway, for anyone from the police department, I received a check, a large. I mean, the check is so heavy I cannot even carry it myself for the event that you are having next week. So make sure you pick up the check for the Police Athletic League event that you are having next week. It's in my office, and it was received from a very world-renowned organization here in South Florida. Secondly, on special presentation, we would like to recognize, my good friend, a New Yorker, an effective legislature that has. You people have no idea the work that he has done on behalf of the city of North Miami and also North Miami Beach. And I would like to recognize my good friend, State Representative John Patrick Julian, to the podium.
He's the New Yorker?
He's a New Yorker. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Mr. Manager, Mr. Clerk, Madam Attorney, and the great and fine residents of the city of North Miami. As the mayor likes to say, what is it? One of the top 10 cities.
Best cities in the United States of America.
There you go. There you go. It works. Mr. Mayor, first of all, I want to say thank you for putting me on the agenda. And it's always a pleasure to be here. I always feel very welcomed. And it's been an honor and a privilege to have given you and your fine city the updates throughout the year. First off, let's just get this out of the way. You know that there was an election on August 14th. I lost the election by 13 votes. It happens when you get into a situation where you get into an election. someone's going to win and someone's going to lose. Effective November 5th, which is Monday, I will no longer be the representative for House District 104. Effective Tuesday, November 6th, you will have 2 new legislators. You will have one legislator that's coming back. That would be Representative Daphne Campbell from House District 108 to the south. You would have Representative Joe Gibbons representing House District 100 to the east, and Representative Barbara Watson representing 107 to the north. And, I believe that the city will be in good hands regardless. And so, again, it really has been an honor and a privilege to have served for the past 2 years as your House member. Now, of course, I'm going to put my eyes on so I could see. Sign of the times. I'm getting old. Mr. Mayor, I'm just going to ask that you please indulge me because I just have 8 items that I want to run down for you real quick. As it's been my custom ever since I got elected, and you know that I sat down with all of you when I got elected, I wanted to be perhaps the most effective legislator that I could have been. And I always figured that the way to do that is to be the purveyor of information, because it does you absolutely no good if you're chasing things. I want you to be proactive, and that's one of the reasons why I've always given you a pre-session update, which is what I'm doing now, and I've always given you a post-session update, which tells you what transpired after the session. I won't be in the position to give you a post-session update, but at least for now, I can give you the pre. Some of the things that cities such as North Miami rely upon in order to balance your budget so that you can do the things that you need to do is you receive money from the communication service tax. Mm-hmm. Well, there's been a movement underfoot with leadership and more directly, we could say it has been Representative O'Toole. She has been trying to repeal a lot of these taxes because, in her view, it's been a money grab. I've been fortunate that I have had her ear, and I've cornered her in the cafeteria several times, and I've explained to her from my experience as a former council member with the city of North Miami Beach that, in essence, she would be crippling the cities if she were to do something like this and repeal the communication service tax. But it's something that I just need for you all to put on the radar, because last year what we did is the legislature cleaned some language so that they could tax the satellites, because you know that if you get cable and the law just wasn't keeping up with the technology. So what they did is we cleaned it up, added some more definitions of what was taxable. And after doing that, obviously, there were some companies that decided that they weren't too happy with the language, because now they were paying taxes that they weren't paying before. So it's something that you just want to put on your radar and make sure that if there's a bill that is proposed, that you put yourself in a position that you could lobby effectively, whether you're in favor of its repeal or you're in favor of it remaining the way it is. That's a decision that you guys will have to make, because you make all the big bucks, not me. Also, the same representative, she went on she was trying to do away with the business tax receipt as well, formerly known as occupational license. And again, I explained to her that if that were to happen, first of all, I believe serving, if my memory serves me correctly, and I am getting old, so I'm subject to a short-term memory loss. That too, amnesia. I only get amnesia when I'm subpoenaed. It would have cost Miami-Dade County over $16 million. But more importantly, it would have cost the city of North Miami approximately $800,000, and that's not money that your budget could have. You wouldn't have been able to sustain that impact. It's coming back, because she has stated that she's going to come back with it. So that's definitely something that you want to put on your radar. If you don't need the money from the business tax receipt, then obviously do nothing.
Is she a Republican?
Yes. Yes.
So the Republican has the majority now, right?
Right.
Okay.
But again, I like I said, I was able to corner her several times, and
Okay.
she got tired of me. And we put up a pretty good argument, and it did actually make it to the Finance and Tax Committee, which I serve on, and that's a huge committee. But our arguments were very clear and precise, and again, it's good to explain to people what the impact is. And the argument that I gave her was very simple. If you take this money away from the cities, it's either they're going to have to cut services or they're going to have to lay people off. And everybody is already doing the most with the bare minimum as it is. And also, a lot of municipalities, what they will do in order to remain viable, they'll just find another way to raise the revenue. So in essence, all you're doing is you're taking from the right and giving back with the left. She understood that, but it is coming back because, again, there are certain organizations out there that do not want to pay this business tax receipt. And so they feel that the best way for them to not pay it is simply to repeal. Amendment 4 is on the ballot. It's one of the 11 items, constitutional amendments that's being proposed on this ballot. And I'm not I'm not going to advocate in favor or in opposition. But the only thing that I want to point out to you, if it passes, okay, and as a legislative body and as a city, you all could do whatever you want to do. But if it were to pass, what would happen is the annual growth of assessed value for non-homesteaded property would go from 10% to 5%, reduction of ad valorem revenue. And also, it would prohibit an increase in assessed value if market value declines for both homesteaded and non-homesteaded property. And again, that translates into a reduction in ad valorem revenue. So you could do with that information what you want. Red light cameras. And again, I'm not telling you should be in favor of it or opposed to it. And I know that that's a very hot item. But you know that it's coming back because both leaders of the House and the Senate, and that would be incoming Senate President Don Gates and Speaker Designate Will Weatherford, they both voted to repeal the red light cameras. And now that they're going to, Representative Weatherford is going to be the Speaker, and Senator Gates is going to be the Senate President, you can come up with your own conclusions as to what's going to happen with this bill. It passed on the House side, 59 to 56 last year. I was on the 56 side because I felt that the cities that I represented, they relied on that revenue. So it passed the House, but we had to circle back and go and kill it in the Senate. So most likely it's going to pass in the House if it comes back up again. But I have a feeling that it's going to also pass in the Senate. But again, it's something that if it's important to you, you could lobby in favor or do nothing. It's totally up to you. Pensions. Pensions for police and firefighters is going to be a huge item this year. Last year, Representative Costello, who is not coming back to the House, he sponsored House Bill 365, which would have, in essence, given home rule to the cities, but obviously the unions were pushing back. Both the police unions and the firefighters unions, they were all pushing. And because it was an election year and it was a redistricting year where 1 out of every 3 or 33% of the House members were pitted against another House member, the bill didn't go anywhere, but it's coming back. And so, again, if the city of North Miami Beach, which I do not believe it is a part of FRS, it will not affect you. But if you're not a part of FRS, which I don't believe you are, it will affect you. Okay. Energy. Okay. Renewable, nuclear, wind, and all of this other good stuff. Right now, there's a little bit of a fight because I'm sure you've been reading that FPL wants to charge in advance for these plants that may or may not be built in the future. And I have a feeling that if they start to charge in advance for these plants that may or may not be built, that if they're not built, they're not giving the money back. And so those are things that, again, you probably just want to pay very close attention to. Water quality is something that you want to put on your radar as well. I'm sure you're aware that last year there was House Bill 411 that was proposed. Fortunately, it didn't pass. And what House Bill 411 was trying to do is it wanted to do away with the statutory requirement that if you sell water outside of your municipality, that you can charge a 25% surcharge. And the reason behind that is very logical. Our residents that are in our cities, they're paying down the debt for these water plants. And so it makes sense that because they're paying down the debt, that you shouldn't have to charge them more. And so if you serve residents that live outside of your boundaries, that it does make sense because they're not paying down the debt that you charge them more. But there are people out there that disagree with this surcharge, and I'm sure you're aware that there was a Miami-Dade County ordinance that seeks to do away with that again, but it would only be for Miami-Dade County. It wouldn't affect the other 66 counties. It would only affect Miami-Dade County. Without mentioning the reason behind it, I'm sure you could read between the lines. So again, if this is something that's important to you, you will want to make sure that if a legislator chooses to file the bill as they did last year, that you take a proactive stand and counter it. Again, it's up to you if this is something that's of importance to you. And then also something that's equally important is right now, Miami-Dade County has a major problem with water. To the tune of $17 billion. The pipes are rotten. There's all kinds of fines from the Environmental Protection Agency, and I have a feeling that you're probably going to be in a good position if your water plant is able to produce more. But in putting yourself in that position where you could sell more water to other customers, which will bring revenue to the city, also know that there are going to be people out there that are going to try to stop you from doing that which you need to do. And last thing, it's vendor preference and contracts. I'm sure you know that last year the legislature in its infinite wisdom decided that they wanted to step on home rule and dictate to cities what kind of contracts they can enter into with their executives, especially with severance pay. It was limited to 20 weeks severance pay. Now the legislature in its infinite wisdom decided that they want to further step on home rule, and what they want to do now is they want to dictate what kind of contracts a city can enter into. So again, those are things that if they're important to you, you should take a proactive stance, and if they're not important to you, just do nothing.
Well, thank you, our effective leader in the State House, for this wonderful update. But I just got a couple questions for you. When it comes to water, you probably know the city of North Miami was awarded the best tasting water in Miami-Dade County. This year was awarded again the second best tasting water in Miami-Dade and Monroe counties. But our water plant, must be improved. I think we recently was approved for $24 million to pretty much, refurbish our water plant. So we need to get some work in that area. But, this is, the issue that I have with this, water issue. We provide water not only to our residents, but cities and unincorporated Dade. But at the same time, since we do not produce enough water, we also get some water from Miami-Dade County. But Miami-Dade County charges us more than what we sell into Miami-Dade County. So if Miami-Dade County wants to remove that 25% surcharge, then they should also remove that 25% or whatever surcharge that they charge me. Because all I'm doing basically is helping them by getting the water from them and provide it to their customers, which they are unable to do so because they don't have the pipes around that area. So I know it was an issue with Miami-Dade County, but I didn't know that it was all the way up in Tallahassee that it is being considered. So you're telling us that we need to get our lobbyists, get our team together to make sure that we defeat such a bill?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. To be honest with you, this is something that's been going on for years now. When it first came up, I was sitting kind of similarly to you guys up there. From North Miami Beach, when the bill first was introduced, it was going to affect the entire state of Florida. They wanted to repeal the surcharge for all water plants that sell to outside customers. And what I did at the time as a council member is and because I was very active with the Florida League of Cities, I contacted all of the mayors throughout the state of Florida whose cities had water plant that sold to outside customers. And in essence, what I said to them is, you're next, okay? If this passes, guess what? Even though in the law it says that it's only going to affect, and the way the language was written, it was tied to population. And only Miami-Dade County, because of the population, would have been affected. But what I wanted them to know is, if you allow this to pass because you're saying that your city or your county is too small, you let it pass and you're next. And so they helped us lobby to defeat it. They got smart. Last year, what they did is they only wrote it for Miami-Dade County. So they left the other 66 counties out of it. And so, hoping that the other municipalities will not lobby, or the other counties would not lobby against it, because the way the law is, or the bill is written now, it only affects Miami-Dade County. But you're in Miami-Dade County.
Right.
And so...
But who's pushing for something like this? I mean, to me, you know, I don't see any organized group. I don't see a big-time lobbyist,
Wow.
you know, pushing for such a thing.
There's a certain representative with the last name of Watson who's...
Yes. It's coming primarily from Miami Gardens.
Miami Gardens.
Yes.
I understand they have issues with North Miami Beach, which provide them with the water. The issue with the red light camera, I know, red light safety camera, I know initially, you know, the state wanted to stay out of it, leave us to deal with it, when they realized that it wasn't just safety, but it was also revenue producing kind of item. Then they decided that they want to cut. We do all the work, but you know, they act like, you know, they are, I mean, for lack of a better word, our pimp, because they were getting 50% of what we were making. But now you're telling me that they want 100% of what we're making, or they just...
No, they don't want it at all.
Oh, they don't want the money.
They don't want the law. They don't want the red light cameras. They don't want it at all. Even though, in the 2 years that I was there, if any Democrat dared to present a bill that had a negative fiscal impact, or any kind of a fiscal impact, that bill was dead on arrival. This bill has a tremendous negative fiscal impact, not only to cities and counties, but to the state as well. And they don't care. But that's because there's an underlying story behind wanting to repeal it, because unfortunately there are certain individuals who go traveling in places they shouldn't be traveling in, and tickets go to their homes, and you know.
Just the last question for you. I don't understand the issue of the business tax receipt, because to me this is the way the city clerk keep track of all the businesses that are within our city limits, you know, with inspection, and at the same time making sure that they are following all the rules. If you don't have such a thing, then how are you going to be able to keep track of the businesses that are within your city limits?
Those were arguments that was made in F&T, Finance and Tax as well. When this came up, the Beacon Council had shown up. There were representatives from Broward County that showed up, and we made all of those arguments. And again, we were successful primarily because I was able to have a one-on-one with the representative that sponsored it, but also we were very fortunate that it was introduced in a year where we had redistricting, and it was an election year. The story behind it, Mayor, is this. there is one individual who owns, and again, I'm doing this off of memory here, about 400 companies in one small village in Central Florida, okay? And this individual feels that the state is just out for a money grab and doesn't understand what a business tax receipt is all about. And this person believes that all these municipalities are doing is just taxing them for no reason. And forget the fact that it used to be an occupational license. Forget the fact that we have to hire inspectors to go out and do certain jobs. We need to make sure that that they're not violating any of our existing codes and ordinances on the books, and all the other things that it is that we do with the money that we charge them. They didn't want to hear that argument. So I have a feeling that when it's introduced again, because it will be introduced again, that it will pass.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's close to $1 million that the city clerk going to have to look elsewhere to find the money to balance our budget. Thank you again, State Rep. It's always a pleasure to have you in the city. I guess, you know, you and I, this is probably our last time together because really, I mean, you're still elected. I think you're here till Monday, the 5th.
Right.
And I'm here till at the end of May 2013.
Okay.
Maybe we could go down to South America and drink Cuba Libre all day long.
Well, I'm not sure my wife would let me go to South America and drink Cuba Libres all day long. But I do not believe that this is our last time together, because we still care about the communities that we serve. And or at least I still care about the communities that I serve. And whether I'm an elected official or not, you don't have to be an elected official in order to serve. And I will continue to serve because service is in my blood.
Great.
So thank you again for your time. And, you know,
thank you.
Have a great evening.
All right. Thank you so much. Enjoy it.
Thank you, Representative.
Okay. City events announcement, Mr. City Manager.
We'll be having announcements coming from Cynthia on behalf of Pam Solomon, and we continue to wish Pam Solomon a speedy recovery.
Okay.
Hey, good evening, everyone. As the manager said, my name is Cynthia Celestin, and I'm going to just get right through this. Starting tomorrow, we're going to have the Honorable Mayor Andre Pierre address us for the State of the City address. That's going to take place at the Greater North Miami Chamber of Commerce monthly luncheon. It's going to be held at the Miami Shores Country Club, which is at 10,000 Biscayne Boulevard. That starts at noon. The cost to attend is $20 for chamber members and $25 for non-chamber members. If you can, you should come and be informed as to what is happening in our great city, such as crime reduction, the lease of Biscayne Landing and its impact on the city, and much, much more. So we hope to see you there tomorrow afternoon. On Thursday, we're going to have a business forum concerning the downtown and commercial corridor plan. That's going to be starting at 5:30, from 5:30 to 8:30. That's going to be at the Gwen Margolis Community Center. That's, for those of you who don't know, it's 1590 Northeast 123rd Street. All residents and business owners, you are invited to attend this business forum hosted by the City of North Miami to discuss the downtown and commercial corridor plan. The city will present its future vision of the city's downtown and major commercial corridors. So there's a lot going on, and this is a great place to be informed, as well as, again, the State of the City address tomorrow. Okay. Friday, this is a great family event. We're going to have our annual Halloween Haunted Trails and Kids Fun Zone. That's going to be from 7 to 11 p.m. Make sure you get there early because gates do close at 10 p.m. It's going to be at the Enchanted Forest, Elaine Gordon Park, 1725 Northeast 135th Street. Admission is only $5 per person at the gate, or you can get a family pass for $20, and it admits up to 5. And the sale of the tickets are going to be at Parks and Recreation until the 26th. Okay. And dress in your Halloween best and enjoy the hauntingly good times on the nature trails at the Enchanted Forest. The little ghosts and goblins will enjoy the hayride and kids fun zone by Goodie Bag Entertainment. So it's just a really nice thing. It's being put on. It's in your community. It's in your neighborhood. So gather up the family and adults. We won't laugh at you if you wear costumes. So please do come out and enjoy. Now, Saturday, this is a really wonderful opportunity. We have the Biscayne Landing Job Fair. That's going to be the only thing for North Miami residents only. It's this Saturday, and it starts at 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And all residents of North Miami are invited to attend the Biscayne Landing Job Fair hosted by the City of North Miami and the Olita Partners. This event is, as I said before, open exclusively to North Miami residents. Thus, photo identification with proof of address is required. If you have any questions, for more information, you can actually go on our website. Okay, I think that's it for tonight. Okay, I was much more nervous tonight. So anyway, have a lovely evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Cynthia. There's one last piece of information. Keep in mind that November 6th is Election Day. Make sure that you get out to vote on Saturday, October 27th. It's early voting. North Miami Public Library is open and ready for you. The ballot is really, really long. I mean, the Republican really did us on that ballot. So those of you that are going out to vote, please take your time. I mean, I voted by absentee. It took me 22 minutes to prepare my ballot. So that means if you have to get to work, if there are things that you need to do, make sure that you go in there and vote. Because when you do vote, you improve our community, because that translates into fundings. Those of you that have seen some of the bus shelters and bus benches that you've seen around town, the brand new one that were installed, these were funds that we received from President Obama as a result of having the opportunity to be part of what's going on. So I just wanted to make sure that we let the people know that they should get out and vote on early voting, October 27th, or on Election Day. Thank you.
Actually, I do apologize. There were 2 items. They came a little bit late, and I almost missed them. So if you don't mind, I'm
sure,
just
go ahead.
Because it's happening before our next, before the next time we convene. It's the Museum of Contemporary Art, MoCA, as it's fondly known. Join the museum for a special afternoon of free art activities and performances on Sunday, November the 4th. That's going to be from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. It's called the Be Creative Visit MoCA Family Day. It will feature inventive art activities for all ages directed by MoCA. Educators and visitors will be invited to make and take their creation. So if you have a creative bone and you're not sure if you're any good, this could be the day where you find out that you're a Picasso or a Van Gogh or such things. So do come out. We hope to see you. And also, on Saturday, November the 10th, enjoy the literature and writers of Haiti again at MoCA, the Museum of Contemporary Art, during the book festival, Haïti en Livre, Haiti Through Books. It's going to be presented from 1 to 5 p.m. This special event will feature talks and book signings by 10 Haitian writers and a reception. So, again, it's the city of North Miami. We got a lot going on. We have art, we have culture, so take advantage of it. Not everybody has that, so we are fortunate in that way. Okay. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you, Cynthia. Mr. City Manager, what's up with Hurricane on Halloween? What's going on with Sandy?
Well, our deputy manager has an update.
Okay.
If there's anything actively happening, she will be able to inform us.
Okay.
Dr. Clark.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, ladies and gentlemen. Tropical storm Sandy is in the Atlantic Ocean. and southwest of Keystone, Jamaica.
Keystone?
Yes.
Keystone down the street?
No,
Oh,
Kingston.
I thought you said Keystone.
Kingston, Jamaica. Current location, it's about 812 miles from Miami. And Sandy is expected to strengthen into a hurricane. What should we expect as potential impact in Miami-Dade County? By Thursday afternoon through Friday in the evening, sustained rain, northeast, 25 to 35 miles per hour, with occasional gusts to 50 miles per hour. Current flooding potential, very low. We don't expect to have any flood.
Okay.
Watch and warning for Miami-Dade County. We don't have any. And the Miami-Dade County Emergency Management will continue to provide updates on this weather.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, it's much better than what I have heard earlier. I thought, it was coming on Halloween, and I know Jeff Guyman has been working extremely hard for this Halloween party that we got planned on Friday. So we don't need to worry about that, right?
Winds.
Just rain?
It will be windy.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Claude. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent.
Okay, has been moved. I seconded. Anyone wishes to record a no? Hearing none, motion passed. Mr. City Clerk, tab E.
G.
I'm sorry, G.
An ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, amending chapter 29 of the city of North Miami Code of Ordinances entitled Land Development Regulations by amending the city's official zoning map referenced in Article 1, Section 1-106 to reflect the rezoning of an area consisting of 4 adjacent lots located at 11707 and 11755 Biscayne Boulevard and at 1700 and 1750 Sanssouci Boulevard from C-2BE commercial to C-1 commercial zoning designation in order to provide consistency with the land development regulations and the comprehensive plan of the city of North Miami, providing for conflicts, severability, codification, and an effective date. Regarding tab G, please be advised that the following item is a quasi-judicial item in nature. All testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. If anyone whosoever wish to comment on tab G, please stand and raise your right hand. If you are not sworn in, you will not be able to comment on tab G. Again, if anyone wishes to comment on tab G, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, may you four please say, I do. May the mayor and council reflect as 4 members from the public. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. City Clerk. This is the second reading of tab G. The last time we were here, we approved it and asked the applicant to have a public meeting with the residents, which they did, and they actually have complied with all of the requirements. So public hearing is open now on tab G. Anyone wishes to be heard on tab G, please come forward. Okay, no one wishes to be heard on tab G. Public hearing is now closed on tab G. Councilman Blinn? Okay, Councilman Blinn move for approval. I'll second it. Councilman Marcellus?
Just one second. And let me say this thing. The last time we were here and we approved this item and conditional. They have to do some town hall meeting and they have, okay, if this thing is done and we have any record of it, city manager?
Through the mayor, Councilman Marcellus, that meeting, there are no minutes for that meeting. Basically, there were several associations there. There was a presentation made, and the results of that meeting, Councilman Blinn was there. It was at his request, and I would like to defer if he would like to give an update on his assessment, being that that's his district of that meeting. But overall, we were very pleased.
He wants to know whether the meeting was held, and I think the answer is yes.
Yes, the meeting was held.
Okay.
Hey, Councilman Blinn, is the people were satisfied with the meeting?
Satisfied all our requests. They own 50 other car dealerships.
Okay.
Microphone. Mr. Mayor, is public comment closed, sir?
Public comment has been closed. Give me 1 second. Let me finish with.
Very willing and able to do what we requested.
Microphone, microphone.
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. They were very willing and able to do what is in the best interest of the public. They are extremely reasonable people, and I anticipate they will do what we request during the course of this structure being built, which they think will take practically 2 to 3 years. So I have no problem with them right now. If anyone does have a problem, please speak out.
Okay.
I'll be listening to you.
Okay. Councilman Galvin.
Thank you. I also attended the public meeting about a week ago, and this will be a spectacular addition to the Biscayne Boulevard Business District. What's now an abandoned, dilapidated, homeless attracting shell of a building will become a beautifully landscaped glass auto dealership. They went at length through how they won't be causing noise to the neighborhood. The old-fashioned outdoor speakers have been replaced with buzzers and cell phones that you call your people
Intercom,
out in the field. Yeah. Right. I've seen what the Lexus dealership did for the business district on Biscayne. I've seen what the Fiat dealership. I have no doubt that this Volkswagen dealership will, I think, actually be better looking than those two properties from the schematics.
I think it will be better looking.
Yeah. So good luck, guys.
Okay. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It seemed like the project is in Mr. Blinn district. He's happy with it. Apparently, his constituent is happy with it, so I have any issues with it.
Okay, no problem. I had already closed public hearing. Go ahead. I'll hear
okay,
those two comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sure.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Carol Prager, 2509 Northeast 135th Street. I've been a resident of North Miami for 50 years. I am thrilled beyond words that this company has come to this location to do something. I can't recall how long that corner of a very important corridor in North Miami has been in that dismal condition. Mr. Galvin said it best. The Lexus dealership is spectacular, and the Fiat dealership is very lovely. And I've discussed, or a number of my neighbors had asked what was going on there, and when we had the conversation, I just would like to share with you that there wasn't one individual that thought this was a bad idea in any shape, form, or fashion. And I'll conclude by saying that I look forward to having that type of revenue into the city. It's been a long time. With the exception of the two recent car dealerships that we've had business come to North Miami of that size. And they're very, very welcomed here as far as I'm concerned. And thank you for the time.
Thank you. Mr. City Clerk, roll call.
There's no more Mayor comment? Pierre?
There's no more comment? There was no public comments. We opened public comments and it was closed, and you weren't sworn in when the clerk asked you to raise your hand to get sworn in.
I just want to comment about past construction.
We'll get to that in a minute when we get to Citizen Forum. That, Mr. City Clerk.
Mayor Pierre?
Yes.
Councilman Blinn? Yes.
Vice Mayor Steril?
Yes.
Councilman Marcellus?
Yes.
And Councilman Galvin?
Yes.
Measure passes 5-0.
Tab H.
An ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, amending Chapter 29 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, entitled Land Development Regulations, by amending Article 7 entitled Definitions, to revise the definition of retail, sale, and service in order to clarify outdoor display as incidental to the sale of primarily new goods and products, specifically automobiles, providing for conflicts, severability, codification, and an effective date.
This is, again, the second reading of this ordinance. Tab H is open for public hearing. Public hearing is now closed on tab H. Councilman Glenn?
Move it.
Move Povo, I second it. Councilman Marcellus?
No questions.
No questions. Councilman Garvin?
No questions.
Vice Mayor?
No question.
Mr. City Clerk?
Councilman Marcellus?
Yes.
Councilman Bland?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Steril?
Yes.
Councilman Galvin?
Yes.
Mayor Pierre?
Yes.
Measure passes 5-0.
Tab I.
Proposed resolution revising uniform procedures and guidelines for award of grants, donations, and/or purchasing tickets, use of city equipment and services, use of city-owned facilities, and use of city snowmobile.
Public hearing is open on tab I.
Showmobile.
Oh, I'm sorry, showmobile.
Good evening, Carol Keys, 12550 Palm Road. I applaud you for getting a little bit more information on the use of our public facilities, showmobile, and services. We did have a resolution in 2010. It wasn't, nobody looked at it, nobody used it. I don't think it was that ambiguous, but I guess we have more regulations now. I do have a very big question through the mayor to Mr. Manager or the attorney. Mr. Manager. On each Exhibit A, you have a section called nonprofit and for-profit organizations, and it says you may make an award to a nonprofit agency or community service organization, and the organization is a valid nonprofit or community service organization. And my question is, where is the definition of a community service organization? This says nonprofit and for-profit organizations. Basically, you're saying any organization can make this grant. Why do you differentiate a community service organization? I don't think has a definition. I give money to a lot of the not-for-profit organizations in our city. I volunteer. Does that make my title company a community service organization? And can I qualify under here? I don't think we should be giving, and also valid, we've been giving grants or use of our services to non-existing or expired organizations. So I think you need to be a little tighter on what a community service organization is. Otherwise, you're just saying anybody out on the streets, whether it's a nonprofit or not, is going to be able to use our services, get grants, will be able to sell us tickets and use our services. And secondly, you've got some provisions on use of services and use of facilities for mayor and council. I think the mayor and council should be able to use our facilities without having a limit of 3 or 6. This says 6. If the mayor or council is doing a project like a breakfast, Councilman Despinosa used to use the Griffin Center 12 times a year. He had a monthly breakfast. So I don't think you should limit the council. I think if it is for our community, they should not have a limit. However, you also have a provision, I think, on Exhibit B, city services outside of the city 3 times a year. I cannot imagine why the mayor or council needs any city services or use of staff outside of our city. I can think of police escorts, or I can't imagine why we need our city services outside our city, and I would disagree with that provision. Thank you.
Good evening. 1990 Northeast 118th Road. It doesn't seem as if the revisions assist in clarifying or narrowing the definition of who is eligible. On the contrary, I think if you open the door to for-profit organizations and then have an ambiguous category of community service organizations, you run into more problems. I think this proposed resolution needs to be tightened up, especially after the 6-hour council meeting of 2 weeks ago. And I really think this should be tuned up by our illustrious city attorney to make sure that it's unambiguous, number one, and number two, it's narrowed. I mean, imagine a for-profit organization getting free services. I mean, it just is incomprehensible. It truly is something very surprising, especially after the last city council meeting. I wish you'd reconsider and perhaps table it for more clarification.
Thank you, Carol Prager, Arch Creek East. I hadn't intended to speak on this, but having heard Mrs. Blinn and Ms. Keys point out some concerns with this, I would ask the council to consider what was said in the best interest of the taxpaying people of North Miami, that you understand very clearly exactly what the language says here and what you would be allowing or disallowing. It doesn't seem clear to two very highly intelligent people here. So I've got some concerns with it as well as a private citizen. Thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies. Jim Tracton from North Miami, Keystone Point. I feel that this particular ordinance is going to give the right to give away the city's money to almost any organization. I think it's very bad. I think it should be reconsidered, and it's fine if we give money to nonprofit corporations, but beyond that, I don't think we should give anything. Thank you.
Public hearing is now closed. Councilman Blinn.
I honestly believe that is, and I'm deeply concerned, that we should be giving money to a profit corporation to help them increase their profits using the citizens' money. I think that should be modified and deleted from this guidelines for awarding grants, donations, and purchasing tickets. It also should be deleted from waiver for guidelines and all other categories this falls into. Secondly, the requested amount in excess of $500 should go to the City Council for action. I believe, and on previous years, that amount was $1,000, if I remember correctly, for the last 13 years. The city manager had discretion to spend up to that to purchase, for instance, a table or tickets to an event. That should be changed to the $1,000 to comply with what we've been doing for the last 10 or 15 years. Otherwise, I see nothing wrong with this. But I would like to have nonprofits deleted.
Okay.
Excuse me, poor profits deleted. Did I? No, at least someone's listening to me. That I know for sure. My wife says no one listens to me.
Councilman Marcellus.
No question, sir.
Okay, no question. Councilman Garvin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The question for staff. I don't know who drafted this. I don't know if it's for the manager or for the attorney. If y'all bump the sound on my microphone back there, maybe I'll try to project a little bit.
We hear you perfectly.
All right. I'm fully projecting at this point, not speaking. For staff, why are these changes presented to us this evening?
Through the mayor, councilman, the other policy was ambiguous. It often conflict, and it was in our opinion that we should separate the items such as the showmobile, the use of city facilities, and the donations. It was all incorporated into one. Oftentimes we found it difficult to apply in one area for all areas. And the way the prior language was written, one would have to applied certain rules that was not necessary for a showmobile, for the use of a showmobile that would be probably relevant to the use of a facility. For example, we may let the school board use, one of our local schools use our showmobile, but the way it was drafted, it would require a bank check. So it's difficult to get a bank check from a school. So it just needed to be separated, a lot more clear for staff, so that we would know how to proceed, and we felt that it would make it easier for mayor and council to make a decision.
Do you think do you envision this being used to make grants, gifts, or other such allowances for for-profit businesses?
For-profit organizations, the reason why that's listed in there is for-profit organizations do have, most of them and some of your larger for-profit organizations do have a corporate social responsibility that they have in their mission, wherein they like to provide a community service. For instance, if Lexus comes to us and says, it's our mission, although we're a for-profit organization, to provide a community service, then they would be that for-profit organization. So we would allow them to fulfill their corporate mission to provide a community service. So it's not in the best interest to exclude them because of that mission that some of them do have. And if it's going to benefit our residents, then we may want to partner with them, although they are for-profit, but to aid them in fulfilling their corporate mission for a community service.
And then, okay, this question then is for the city attorney. I'd like to offer some amended language and tell me where we want to do this. What he's saying, for instance, about the showmobile makes sense. If Lexus wants to do a concert benefiting disaster relief, I could see us doing something to, assist them in using a showmobile. But I don't think we should be giving money directly to a for-profit business. Is there a section where we can amend the language simply so that it's okay for the use of the showmobile or something like that, but where we're not writing a $1,000 check to Lexus?
Yes, the council may amend.
Okay.
If that's your will.
I'll sort of throw that out there as my first request of amended language. Second amended language I would ask for is that we put language in there that any group, whether it be for-profit, non-profit, or anywhere in between, if they're not in good standing with the state of Florida, they are strictly prohibited from applying. I think we've got too many groups that are coming to us. They've let their paperwork expire at the state. They've never incorporated with the state, whatever. If they're not fully in good standing with the state of Florida, I'd suggest amended language that just straight out prohibits them. They can come back when they get their paperwork in order, but not while it's still in flux.
Also with the county.
Well, not every group needs to have.
1 second. Is that the only two amendments you have?
The state of Florida is the only one that really oversees whether a group is a for-profit or a non-profit business entity. I mean, you can be a not-for-profit with the state, but you don't have the 501c3. I'm just talking about my personal feeling is just with the state of Florida. If they're not a business in good standing with the state of Florida, they shouldn't even be before us, period, is my opinion.
Just 1 second. Any other amendments?
Not at this time, no.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Through the mayor, Councilman Galvin, nonprofit, the way we vet them and the way moving forward staff would vet them is by going through sunbiz.org, which houses that information, and to determine that they are a nonprofit, that their items are current, active, and that's the way we would present it.
But I think the issue is what we did 2 weeks ago with Haitian Jazz spoke up, that they let the status expired while they said it was going to get done the next day. And, we all can agree. I mean, we said not-for-profit organization. So if you let your status expired, you're not an organization. You're not a not-for-profit. You're not a profit organization. So I think, basically, I mean, the thing speak for itself. This is West Ipsa Laquida, right, Ms. City Attorney? The thing speaks for itself.
Yes.
So
for
if you say not-for-profit or profit organization, I think the language is already there. But that's not an issue at all in terms of adding that language. But before we move forward, I mean, we hit 3 separate amendments, also one from Mr. Bland. Let's finish with the Vice Mayor before we move forward on that and see which way is the best way to proceed. Okay. Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Is the item, I think, where we address how many times that the City Council should be using the showmobile. So I don't understand why should we have guidance or how many times should we use the city. How many times? I'm not sure what's going on because I think that it's on.
Yeah, they control our volume in the back.
So maybe
back
what I'm
there,
saying
they
is
need
not
to
that
bump it
important.
So you guys
so
can hear us.
Is it feeling better now? Okay. So I think my friendly amendment is to remove the amount of time that council and the mayor should be using the city facilities, specifically if we're doing something for the constituents.
Okay, that's amendment number 4. Anything else?
No, I'm done.
Okay. All right, let's vote. Let's start with amendment number 4. Yes, sir.
I have a quick question, Mayor, and a potential request. Just to be clear, the office of the city clerk is completely silent here, and I guess I don't fall within the city council and obviously not within the
All right,
department.
that's amendment number 5. Can we add the city clerk into city council and mayor? Okay. Let's take amendment number 5 now. Anyone wishes to record a no to city clerks being added to as part of that resolutions? Okay. Hearing none, amendment number 5 has been added. Wherever it says mayor and council, just add Mr. Michael Andre Etienne. City clerk, I'm sorry. Thank you. Amendment number 4. Anyone remove the amount of time that the mayor, the city clerk, and council can use the showmobile city-owned facilities. Anyone wishes to record a no?
No.
Okay, 1 no. Item pass. Amendment number 3. Adding language to make sure that every single not-for-profit or for-profit organizations are to be in good standing. Anyone wishes to record a no? Hearing none. Amendment number 3 pass. Amendment number 2, the $1,000 issue, which was discussed, and I'm not even sure, does that go in terms of grants or does that go in terms of the policy of the showmobile? Councilman Gavin, were you referring to just
Blend?
Huh?
This one is Blends, Mr. Blends.
Mr. Blend, that $1,000. Were you referring to?
No, it's a cash situation. He wants to buy us a table, and it's $1,100 or $900.
So increase the limit to $1,000 rather than $500.
It's been that way for the last 20 years.
The last
probably.
20 years. Anyone wishes to record a no?
No.
Okay. Item pass. The last amendment, Councilman Gavin, would you state your amendment again?
Well, I think you got the one that I was.
Okay. All right. So we'll vote on the entire resolution at this.
There's
moment.
one more. I'm sorry.
Which
There's
one is
one
that?
more amendment with respect to the for-profit, removing for-profit.
No. It stays in there to make sure that they are in good standing.
No, that's different. That's good standing, and then whether to remove for-profit so that only non-profit organizations are eligible to receive grants.
But we saw the example that was given by the city manager. I think that has been withdrawn because the manager gave you the example. For example,
no.
Excuse me.
I know what she's saying. My other one was that we would clarify the language to where we could make available to for-profit businesses like Lexus. Sorry, we're using your name tonight. The Showmobile. If they're doing a charitable event, I could see us going that far down the road. But for making a cash donation, writing a check, that we're not writing checks and cash straight to a for-profit.
Right. So
it's unacceptable.
That's the question.
For-profit organization, but keep in mind that
for donations and grants, right? So I just
donation
need to
and
know
grant is
off.
No, a donation and grant has to increase from $500 to
Got that.
$1,000.
I got that.
Okay.
Okay.
The request at this moment, the last amendment, is whether we should be writing a check to a for-profit organization. Well, now this is where I think that language may be in conflict with the language that was just added by Councilman Blinn. Because let's say that there is, for example, a fundraising event for Lexus. Okay,
That's not going to happen.
You know, that's not going to happen. Let's say there's a fundraising event for
It's going to be
any
an
of those
organization.
profit organizations. So
No, we're not going to have fundraising for a profit organization.
okay, so are we? Is the question is should we be able to sponsor a table? Should we be able to sponsor the event? And I think this is where the issue is. And so far, I'm not sure if there are organizations for profit that would have events and would request for the city to purchase a table. I think that is very likely.
It's never happened since I've been on the city council.
My opinion, if Lexus is putting on a nonprofit for putting on a dinner for disaster relief, that if we want to sponsor somehow, we would be writing our check to the nonprofit that's benefiting from that.
Right,
that
not
event.
Lexus.
Not to Lexus to pass through.
Right.
Because, we can't be sure that if we write a check to a for-profit business, they're going to pass along the whole amount to the charitable event.
That's why we've never done it.
For profit.
We've never given money to a profit.
Right. So if PAL is doing benefit...
I just don't remember, usually you write these languages and you don't really get a chance to see how it works until, you put it to use. So we should be supporting not-for-profit organizations in terms of writing a check, but in terms of using city facilities, we don't have any problem with that. So I don't have any problem with writing checks only for not-for-profit organization rather than for-profit.
Okay, so the motion has been made.
That'll be the amendment.
So
Right.
my
That's the last
motion is that that we amend the language as it relates to gifts or
Got it.
grants or donations to a for-profit.
Right. Yeah, it's not allowable.
All right, so with all the amendments that were made, can I get a motion to approve the resolution?
So move.
Has been seconded. Anyone wishes to record or no?
No.
Okay. Top J.
Proposed resolution approving the Third Amendment to the 2010 Community Housing Development Organization agreement between the City of North Miami and Little Haiti Housing Association, Inc., to allow for the conversion of 2 unsold units to multifamily rental units in accordance with requirements of the Home Investment Partnership Program guidelines, and to further provide for an extension to the effective term of the agreement.
Okay, this is basically an agreement we have with Little Haiti Housing. All we're doing, we're just gonna allow them to rent those units rather than ownership. So I don't see any problem with doing so. They have been in the city for about 10 years now, doing work.
Maybe longer.
Okay, maybe longer. So, Mr. Blend, are you making a motion to approve the resolution?
Yes.
Has been made. I'll second that motion. Public hearing is open on top J.
Good evening, everybody. Annie Montgomery, 2082 Laurel Lane. Who is the owner of these units at this time? I would like to know who is the owner.
When you finish with your public hearing comments, then we'll answer your
And
question.
is this in a condominium building, or is it a separate freestanding building? That's another question. So nobody is willing to answer it. Ask him. Because in the ordinance or in the resolution, it says that people were not able to qualify to buy them. I guess there were interested parties, so I guess they weren't approved for their loans. So that's why we're going to allow rentals. And if it is a community building or a rental building, I'd like to know. Thank you.
Public hearing is still open on tab J. Public hearing is now closed. Mr. City Manager, would you answer those two questions, please?
Yes, Mayor. Little Haiti Housing had approximately 12 units at a condo building that is privately owned, but they bought, the agreement was originally for 12. They were able to sell 10 of those condos through this program. They are not able to sell 2 out of the 12. Therefore, the program is allowing us to convert those over to rentals until such a time the market is once again viable, at which time the renters will have the first opportunity to purchase those units that they are renting under this program if passed.
All right. Thank you. Motion was made, was second. Anyone wishes to record a no?
No.
Hearing none. Hearing one. Motion passed. Sam, thank you so much for being here with us. We love the work that you do in the city of North Miami. And congratulations on your 25th anniversary celebration dinner. I would like to invite the entire city Thursday, November 1st, 2012, 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. at Miami Shores Country Club. And the keynote speaker is our very own, one of the best county commissioners in Miami-Dade County, keynote speaker, Jamon Estim. So good luck and congratulations. Okay, we truly appreciate the work that you do in our city.
Mr. Mayor?
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Since you've singled out the director or the gentleman who's in the room on Little Haiti Housing's behalf, may I ask him to come to the microphone?
No, the item already passed, and we're moving on to the next item.
So I don't know who he is.
I'm congratulating him. You know him before. He's been here before this city council. Mr. City Clerk, tab K1.
Request of Catherine
You could go out there and talk to him
from
if you want.
I'll meet you right outside.
Sure, go ahead.
To obtain scholarship in the amount of $60,000 from the city in support of the Greek Festival, November 3-4, 2012.
Okay, this is a request was made by Catherine from the Greek Church. Kathy?
Yes. Mayor, council members,
we're voting on another.
I respectfully request a reconsideration of our request for the North Miami Greek Festival. We have had here in the city of North Miami various festivals for different backgrounds, whether they're Haitian, Hispanic, and the Greeks are very happy to play a big part in their community. We have had this festival now for over 32 years. We had to stop for a while because of the economic downturn, but I want to make a point. Even Miami-Dade County is going ahead and giving us a small grant for this festival. They said to us, the city of North Miami is well known for being culturally diverse. You have MOCA, you have various festivals, you have a very vibrant community. We tend to give more to the unincorporated areas that don't have the cities to help them out, such as Miami Beach that does various cultural events, and Coconut Grove. So I have here a letter from the Miami-Dade Cultural Affairs Department, Michael Spring, who actually went ahead and wrote it and said, congratulations for the North Miami Greek Festival. So Councilman Blinn, there really isn't a problem for the county.
You have to stay on the microphone.
You can pass it around up there. There is no problem for the county in giving us support for a Greek festival, which is being used exclusively for the promotion of the festival in the city. We want to bring people together. We want to have a good time. We want to have some harmony in our community. And if our county is able to give us something, I am, asking my city to be able to support our own event. So, and we pay taxes too. You're not the only ones. We're paying them to this community also. It is our first request in 50 years here. All right? 50 years. We haven't done it in the past 6 years, so you could say $10,000 a year that has been given for various organizations who have done wonderful things for the city itself. So I am asking only because it is embarrassing to me to have my county government come back and tell me, well, haven't you been able to get anything from the city to sponsor your event? And the county is sponsoring various other events. And they said to me, why don't you go back to the city and ask? And I said, I will try and do my best. But, this is something that is not exclusively for a church. It's not. It is a cultural event that is occurring and that we want to have annually, and that we will not ask again, put that on the record. It's a one-time request. It is not like we're going to be coming back here every year to ask for this. This is a one-time request, and the county is willing to pay a grant annually to us without a problem, but our own city is saying to the entire Greek community, sorry, we don't care. And that is not right, ladies and gentlemen. And we are asking for your one-time support on this. And I don't think it's very, very difficult to be able to give something to help out in this festival.
Okay. Kathy, I'm just going to open public hearing and hear from the public what they have to say about the request.
One question I have, first question I have.
You have to state your name and address for the record.
A. Brudman, North Miami, San Souci. The first question I have is, you just finished passing a resolution that says that a for-profit company should not get donations or cash. And I just heard you say that you pay taxes.
As a resident. That's what I'm doing. We're a non-for-profit, but I'm talking we're paying as a residence of
Kathy, let me finish with public comments, please.
To my knowledge, a 501c3 does not pay taxes or even property taxes. And it's the 501c3 that's up here asking for this donation, right? Another comment I have is, religion is a personal belief. There are so many religions to choose from, including the choice of no religion. It's impossible to decide one belief is right and another is wrong. Furthermore, the U.S. Constitution prevents government from favoring one religion over another. The city should not, and by law cannot, participate in religious philanthropy. As such, the church and any other religious organization should be raising its own funds for the event. Thanks.
Okay.
Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aaron. I'm this gentleman's son. Well, first of all, just for a little humor, I hope everyone appreciates the irony of the Greeks coming to our city and asking for money. On a macro level, we see what's happening in Greece, and I find it a little bit humorous to have on a local level, again, the Greeks coming and asking for money, but still, on a much more, enough levity, on a much more important level, I mean, Thomas Jefferson was a pretty smart guy. I think we will agree. The separation between the city's government, the state government, the federal government, and any religious organization is fundamental in this country. And especially on a city level, I mean, we're supposed to be a model of the macro idea of separation between religion and city and state and federal governments. But this is not a new issue. This issue's already been decided. It's not new at all. I mean, city attorney, you went to law school, you learned all about the Lemon Test. I cannot imagine any secular purpose that this city has for giving $60,000 to a religious organization. Imagine this. Imagine now we give $60,000 to this religious organization and they use it to promote a festival, which all we've heard right now is that it's in regards to Greek culture. I'm a Jew, but there's a big distinction between Judaism and Israel. You have a nationality, you have a religion. All we've heard tonight is money advocating for a festival of a nationality. But we know that's not what this is. We know this is money going to a religious cause, the Greek Orthodox Church. Money which the city of North Miami fundamentally should not be giving to any religious organization, not just the Greek Orthodox Church, but any organization, any religious entity. And to me, this is my first meeting, by the way, but to me this is very laughable. Laughable that we would even contemplate giving that much money, $60,000, to a religious group. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor and Council and City Attorney, am I on here? I've heard a lot of legal opinions which are wrong.
I'm sorry, Doug, name and address for those.
I'm sorry. Douglas Hindmarsh, Keystone Islands. I am a foundation. I pay taxes. I pay 2% on my gain. I have to give away 5% of my corpus every year. I'm a 501c3 and a 501c9. My papers are in order. I did not know there was going to be a giveaway, but I found out last week. Last week, you gave away, this request was denied that's in front of you right now, but you gave away an undisclosed amount to AstroTurf. You gave away an undisclosed amount 4-1 to the NAACP. They're 501c3 organizations. This particular entity that's in front of you now holds a Greek festival. They happen to be a religion, but it's a community event. When it comes to for-profit, they are not. And by the way, Madam City Attorney, it's in the Florida Constitution. You cannot give away public property for private use. So Lexus is out. But that's not the issue at bar. The issue at bar is whether or not you're going to promote a festival. The Greeks have been here probably near as long as North Miami's been an entity. They used to be on 95th Street. They're now on 123rd Street. I've been to the festival. I haven't been in years. I saw a flyer. I was planning on going, and then here it is on the agenda tonight. I think along the lines of, I mean, there's more lawyers in this room than there is roaches. You ought to follow the 14th Amendment and make an equal protection, because the community festival, if you contemplate giving a nickel to Lexus to promote a showmobile, this is something that's going to happen in 3 or 4 days. And I will tell you from experience, the baklava is worthwhile, and the umpa is worth going to hear, even if you can't dance and you're on crutches. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Jim Tracton from Keystone Point. I feel badly, but I have to say this. As a former Deputy Attorney General, you cannot legally give money to that church. It's, as other people have said, you're opposing the Constitution of the United States. You cannot do that, especially when they ask for $60,000. If they asked for $2,000, $5,000, I would have probably sat there very quiet. But $60,000, gentlemen and ladies, please do not go that far.
Good evening, Carol Prager, Arch Creek East. $60,000 to some people doesn't seem a lot of money, but $60,000 is an awful lot of money to foundations like the North Miami Seniors, or perhaps a daycare that takes care of children for single moms who don't have the money. In my mind, if you're going to be giving this sum of money to anyone, I would want to give it to someone who desperately needs it. Having said that, I consider county money, county tax money, my tax money. So by coming here and requesting money from the city of North Miami, in my mind, is double dipping. But should you see it differently, and you care to contribute to this cause, I would say that you not contributed any more than what the county did.
How much did the county give you, Chris?
It's still pending. It's still
How
pending.
much is the request?
The maximum they give is around $10,000.
$10,000.
That's what they usually give.
Okay.
Yes, it's pending because they approve
it's
you
okay.
and they don't
Kathy,
pay
it's
you
okay.
till
Go ahead,
afterwards.
Mrs. Bland.
It's 1,600.
Esther Bland, 1990 Northeast 118th Road. I agree with the previous speaker. The Senior Citizens Foundation is even though they may get the county monies that are being withheld, I think that would be interesting. The Meals on Wheels program for seniors throughout the city is in jeopardy. I mean, I think that with all due respect, there are many religious organizations that are practically bankrupt. They're not able to have a festival, and they have people within their religious organizations that need Meals on Wheels. I mean, this is government taxpayer money. If you want to give and you have $60,000, by all means, give it to the Senior Citizens Foundation so people can eat. I'm just upset.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
No.
Good evening. My name is Linda Dellerson, 2341 Bayview Lane, Keystone Point. I'm a homeowner here for the past 32 years. And I was given this brochure at a meeting that Scott Galvin, gave last week about the budget that's here in our city. So I'm not saying I'm opposed, and I'm not saying I'm for this, but I think you all have an obligation to tell the citizens here, especially people here that came this evening and whoever else is listening in on the news, television channels who couldn't attend, what's really in our budget. I'm puzzled as to how much is in the pot to give out, because if there's, let's say, 5 more people that are coming on after this young lady, and also asking for 10,000 here and 20,000 there and 50,000 and 80,000, I'm not sure what the numbers are and how long we're going to be here. If it's going to be past 12 o'clock again this evening, then we're all going to be coming up and saying the same thing that I'm saying right now. So we need to find out how much does the city intend and plan on giving out, and let the citizens of our fine community know. And then once we have it straight in our mind, and I don't know if you all saw the budget, I'm sure you're all aware of what's in the City of North Miami budget of how much you can hand out, but let us as citizens know what that amount is so that we can then intelligently figure out in our minds, yes, we're for this, or no, we're not. And then you can listen to us intelligently speak to you about it, and then you can make your decision, yes or no, as to what you approve. Thank you very much.